Good morning. I wanted to read a little sutta to you. This isn't what I thought it would be. Okay. It's called A Bucket Measure of Food. This is about changing habits. And it's a sweet little story about King Pasenadi. He's coming to see the Buddha. And a lot of times they talk about how the king's carriage or chariot or whatever comes as close as possible, and then they have to get out because they can't drive any further and then walk. He's walking up the hill. It says at Savatthi, now on that occasion, King Pasenadi of Kosala had eaten a bucket measure of rice and curries. And why not? You're the king. You can have as much as you want. Then, while still full, huffing and puffing, the king approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, and sat down to one side. Then the Blessed One, having understood that King Pasenadi was full and was huffing and puffing, on that occasion recited this verse. When a man is always mindful, knowing moderation in the food he eats, his ailments then diminish. He ages slowly, guarding his life. Now on that occasion, the young Brahmin Sudarsana was standing behind King Pasenadi of Kosala. The king then addressed him thus, "Come now, dear Sudarsana, learn this verse from the Blessed One and recite it to me whenever I am taking my meal. I will then present you daily with 100 kahapanas as a perpetual grant." "Yes, sir," the Brahmin youth Sudarsana replied, having learned this verse from the Blessed One. Whenever King Pasenadi was taking his meal, the Brahmin youth Sudarsana recited, "When a man is always mindful, knowing moderation in the food he eats, his ailments then diminish, he ages slowly, guarding his life." Then King Pasenadi of Kosala gradually reduced his intake of food to at most a pint pot measure of boiled rice. At a later time, when his body had become quite slim, King Pasenadi of Kosala stroked his limbs with his hand, and on that occasion uttered this inspired utterance. The Blessed One showed compassion towards me in regard to both kinds of good, the good pertaining to the present life and that pertaining to the future life. So when we realize that we have a habit, a mental habit that's holding us back, how do we change it? Especially if it's, something that's been there, as long as we can remember. Who are we gonna pay to stand there, and what are they gonna say? So last night I was up a long time with a very painful stomach. And the best thing I could do for it was walking meditation. And the contemplation in my mind was around letting go of everything. Letting go of everything is really the end game. And when we can let go of everything, even in a moment, it's Nibbāna here and now. And Nibbāna is only here and now. And as I was walking, various things came up. And one in particular was something from almost 20 years ago that I thought was pretty much addressed. But it was clear that there was like a fingernail's amount left that I was attached to, that I needed to let go of. And my mind went to one, that I had entered that situation by choice. In fact, before even knowing about the situation, it's going to maybe sound crazy, but it's how it is. The Devas asked me, this is going to be really hard. Do you want to do it anyway? And I said yes. And then this whole thing unfolded. So I did it by choice. Of course, I didn't know how hard it was going to be. And then my mind went to what I learned from that situation and the good that that person had done for me. And I could feel the letting go. And the relief. And if it comes up again, I want that same voice, I'll pay it, to stand there and remind me of how to treat this memory, how not to identify with it, carry it around as this happened to me, this is a part of me. Because none of this is me or mine anyway. So I was thinking about all the different reflecting on some of the things that can happen to us in a human life. Really anything. Anything that could happen to anybody else can happen to us. Anger, sadness, resentment, righteous indignation, sorrow, pain, grief, despair. Sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They're all dukkha. These are exactly the things we need to let go of. Even though it's completely understandable to feel them. My mom used to say, don't I have the right to be angry? You know, and what she meant was, this situation is something worth being angry over, right? Yes, and it's dukkha. And it's a fetter. It's holding us back. It's keeping us locked into conventional reality where the suffering never ends. This is not what we want. And we have to find that voice and that verse that's going to remind us not to take it in when it comes up, not to say anything, not to act on it, to really see what we need to see in order to drop it, to let it go. And even if it takes 100 times, it doesn't matter. That's progress. And it's freedom. We can disentangle from what we hate, what we love. If something's arising in us that isn't metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha, don't cling to it. Let the contemplation of that phenomena lead you to who you need to pay and what they need to say. To really, really help your system take in that you can let this go. And when you let go of everything, there isn't anything in the world you can't withstand. There isn't anything in the world that's going to bring you trauma. Physical trauma, yeah, we all have that. Mental trauma, we don't have to accept that. We don't have to go there. Not at this stage. You're an adult. You have the Dhamma. I think that's really what our job is. And when we get to that place where we don't identify with these things anymore and we're not thinking them and feeling them again and again in a way that perpetuates that thinking and feeling to happen again in the future, we can be so available to experience, to the people in our life, to the circumstances of the world. Because there's nothing that holds us back at that point. That's what's calling to us. You know, the Dhamma, well expounded by the Blessed One, apparent here and now, timeless, inviting you to come and see, to be experienced individually by you, by me. And it's not about getting rid of something. It's only about understanding it. And we do have our Kalyanamitta to help us. The Buddha said the most powerful external force is the voice of another. And we have to bring the internal force of kindness to ourselves, compassion, and a willingness to not continue to perpetuate the dukkha in our experience.